Hare Krishna. Welcome to Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam Saturday discussion. Is the audio clear on Zoom?
जी प्रभु जी.
All right, great. Okay, so we will start with Maṅgalācaraṇa prayers. Please recite Maṅgalācaraṇa very nicely, especially before Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam class. ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपः कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्ण चैतन्य देवं श्रीराधा कृष्ण पादान् सहगण ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च नमः। ओं विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देश तारिणे। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधो दीनबंधो जगत्पते गोपेशा गोपिका कांता राधा कांता नमोस्तुते। तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय। जगत गुरु श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। We will recite the Maṅgalācaraṇa or the invocation verses for Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. Our obeisances to Shri Parikshit Maharaj and Shri Shukadeva Gosvāmī and Shri Sūta Gosvāmī and Shaunakādi Rishis. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Deving Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudiraye Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavatyuttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishthiki Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nanda Gopa Kumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha. Okay. So we are going to continue with the Sudāmā pastime. Okay. So I'll share from my iPad where we left off. I'll give a quick overview of where we are. I think we have to start from text 11. But just to give a quick overview or a quick recap of where we are. So what has happened so far is that we are in the pastime of Sudāmā Brahmaṇa. And this is a brand new pastime being narrated by Sri Sri Shukadeva Gosvāmī to Parikshit Maharaj. So Parikshit Maharaj requested for a new pastime to be narrated since Bhagavan has unlimited pastimes. So Sri Shukadeva Gosvāmī took out a brand new pastime from his infinite number of pastimes in his heart and started narrating this very sweet pastime to Parikshit Maharaj. So Parikshit Maharaj even had said that even if you want to repeat the previous pastimes, that's also okay. But Bhagavan's pastimes are so unlimited and Parikshit Maharaj's time is limited. So Shukadeva Goswami took out this very wonderful pastime of Sudāmā Brahmaṇa. And then it was mentioned how both of them, Parikshit Maharaj and Shukadeva Goswami, were completely absorbed in the process of speaking and hearing. So they are both considered to be the highest examples of Shravan and Kirtan. So the best example of Shravan is Parikshit Maharaj, and the best example of Kirtan, or of speaking the pastimes, Nam, Roop, Gun, Leela, is Shukadeva Goswami. So they were completely absorbed in this activity. So the pastime begins with the description of Sudāmā Brahmaṇa, who is a very, very sweet devotee of Bhagavan. And he's a Brahman, so he has not taken up any occupation as such. And he is simply discharging his life absorbed in bhajan of Sri Krishna. And whatever came of its own accord, he was accepting. So it is not mentioned in the Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, and I have not seen in any commentaries either that he had children, but may have been that he had children. But it is his condition was, and his wife's condition has been described as extremely poor, to the extent where they did not have enough to eat either. And even their veins, their bodies were completely emancipated, means completely dried out. Even their bones and skeleton was visible. So they were extremely poor, but it does not mean at all that they were suffering. From our standpoint, we may feel that if one is in that situation, one is suffering. but he was not at all, or they were both not suffering, since they were completely absorbed in bhajan of Bhagavan. So, both, now it may appear from the story that his wife was a little bit materialistic, but our acharyas described that she was also an equally exalted devotee. And last time, I think we discussed the various reasons why she goes and approaches her husband to go to Bhagavan Krishna, who is a dear friend of Sudāmā ji, to ask for some wealth. So 2 points we had discussed, and one is that was she at all materialistic, or even a little bit materialistic? And our acharyas described or argued against that point, and they gave reasons as to why she was asking her husband to go and to go to Sri Krishna. And the second question was, should a devotee, if they were both such great devotees, why would they want to go to Krishna to ask for something material? So we discussed, so that is correct, we should not. But when one is such a exalted devotee, such a pure devotee of the highest caliber, the sweetness of the relationship with Krishna is such that there are good reasons to go to Krishna and ask for something. So we discussed last time that one of the reasons is that Krishna would become offended if they would not come. If, just like I was, if, like a parent, you are sleeping in one room, and in the morning your child gets up and says, all night I couldn't sleep, I was having a very high fever or something. What would a parent say? Why didn't you come and wake me up? No, I didn't want to disturb you all, you were sleeping. And what will the parent say? That, are you crazy? You should have absolutely woken me up. So it's not, there is no feeling that you shouldn't. So the relationship is such, if you are sleeping in your friend's house, you may not want to make them up. Hey, do you have a Tylenol or thermometer in your home? Maybe you can tolerate it, and in the morning you can ask, but not with your parent or with your such close. So that is the point, that when devotees are so close to Sri Krishna, Krishna would feel, and the child would feel, if I don't wake them up in the morning, I am going to get it back. That, why didn't you wake me up? It's my problem if I don't wake them up. So better wake them up. So that is the sweetness of the relationship between devotee and Krishna. But when one reaches that level of sweetness, then these reasons make sense. Otherwise, one shouldn't go around and explain that, or the understanding should not be that we should ask something material from Krishna. So that is definitely not advised. But the situation or the case of Sudāmā ji is much different. And we discussed other reasons also. I don't want to repeat last time's class here, but we discussed other reasons. And we also discussed the strong nature of the pativrata nature of Sudāmā ji's wife, how devoted she was to her husband. So it was not due to her own poverty or her own suffering or anything like that. So all those points would not hold ground. उन सबको खंडित कर दिया गया. आचार्यों ने सारे वाक्यों को खंडित कर दिया. They argued against it. So this is what we discussed till last time. I think we discussed till verse number 10. Now we will start with 11. Okay. So the way we do it is we go verse by verse. I have gone over the commentaries of our previous acharyas, primarily 3 commentaries, in some cases maybe more: Sri Sridhar Swami, Bhavartha Deepika, Sri Jīva Gosvāmī, Vaishnav Toshni, and Śrī Viśvanātha Cakravartī Ṭhākura, Sarartha Darshini. And the BBT commentaries, of course, but they are also taken from these sources. These are the 3. And of course, Sri Sridhar Swami's commentary is the root or the basis, but it's very short. Basically, it is explaining the key points. The main commentary is Vaishnav Toshni on the 10th canto by Sri Jīva Gosvāmī, and Sri Viśvanātha Cakravartī Ṭhākura, wherever he wants to point out something extra, he writes. Otherwise, his commentary is also short. So main commentary that we use is Sri Jīva Gosvāmī. Okay. So we will start with text number 11. So very nice points will come. We'll see how far we can go. So now what is happening is that, so conversation between Sudāmāji's wife, I was telling last time, her name has not been mentioned, but I think somebody found on internet her, what was that? Sushila or something like that. So again, if there can be a proper reference from Acharya's commentaries, that would be appreciable, more convincing. So that's okay. So now the conversation between his wife and Sudāmāji is still continuing, and we'll see a very nice point in this verse that is coming up. So, yeah. Aste dhuna dvāravatyam bhoja-vṛṣṇy-andhakeśvaraḥ smarataḥ pāda-kamalam atmanam api yacchati artha-kāmān bhajato natyabhishtan jagadguruhu. So this is a verse obviously in Anushtup, but 6 lines. Some verses have 6 lines, 2 mainly, all verses are 4 lines. So the question that may come up, so aste adhuna dvaratyam, dvaravatyam. So which means that right now, aste means he is, in, adhuna means right now, in Dvārakā. So Sudāmā Brahmaṇa may be asking his wife. So his wife is saying, so Sudāmāji's wife is speaking this verse, that how do I know? At that time there was no rapid communication or something like, you cannot make a phone call or text message. So how do I know if I go all the way to Dvārakā and he's not there? Then I will come to know that he has gone to, because we have seen Sri Krishna keeps going where? Hastinapur, and it has also been, we just read in the past several months, he went to Vrindavan as well, and so on. So how do we know where he is? So I will go and it will be a complete waste of time, and I cannot, and Hastinapur is much farther away. So what will be the guarantee that I will meet Sri Krishna? So his wife says that right now he is in Dvārakā, I have heard. So the message has come, but Sudāmāji is more absorbed in bhajan. So his wife knows little more current affairs, what's going on. She keeps track of the news little better. So she says right now he is there, and he has basically killed the last demon. So his whole travel, due to the political situation and all that, all the wars and battles, is over. Who was the last demon he killed? Dantavakra and Viduratha, both were brothers. So that was they were the last demon. There is significance to the last demon killing. We discussed that over several weeks in the past few months. So right now he is in Dvārakā and he's taking rest. He has done a lot of fighting and everything, and now he is enjoying with the bhojas, vrishnis, andhakas. So these are the various family members or categories of family members with whom he is residing in Dvārakā. So bhoja-vṛṣṇy-andhakeśvaraḥ, he is the Lord of all these people. And then she gives more arguments. So he's trying to, so in this verse, there are like arguments, counter arguments kind of hidden behind. So these 4 lines are very sweet. So he says, I don't want to go and ask for anything from him. So what should I do? So he expresses his heart to his wife. It's not good to ask something. So very nicely she is trying to say, smarataḥ pāda-kamalam atmanam api yacchati. So those who are smarataḥ, those who meditate on his pāda-kamalam, his lotus feet. And Sudāmā ji is certainly one of them, who is meditating always on the lotus feet of Sri Krishna. Atmanam api yacchati, he gives himself. Atmanam means himself. Api yacchati, he gives to that person who is meditating on the lotus feet. So he gives himself. Once he gives himself, what else is left? Nothing else is left to give. Kinva artha-kāmān bhajato. What to speak of some artha and some kama, some little small pieces of wealth for those who are doing his bhajan. All this na ati abhishtan jagat guru. So na ati abhishtan means he doesn't care much about some wealth or something. When he is willing to give himself, then what else is left? Wealth and all is like peanuts. And then he is Jagat Guru. He is the guru of the entire world. So what it means is that it's the duty of the guru to take care of his disciples. And you are one of his best disciples, or his best, most favorite, sweetest disciples, so to say, because you do his bhajan all the time. Why wouldn't he take care of you? So these are all the arguments that are presented by his wife to Sudāmā ji. So there are many points here pointed out by our acharyas, Sri Sridhar Swami, Jīva Gosvāmī, and Sri Viśvanātha Cakravartī Ṭhākura. So I'll just share some of those which have not already been covered. So, so another point of mentioning here that bhoja-vṛṣṇy-andhakeśvaraḥ. So they are the various people who are also residing in Dvārakā along with Sri Krishna. And he is saying he is the Ishvara of all of them. He is the controller. He is the Supreme Lord, Supreme Bhagavan of all of them. And they are all his very nice devotees as well. So even though they are relatives of Sri Krishna, they are also his devotees. So even if Krishna is not there in Dvārakā, they will all be there. The whole of Dvārakā will not be empty. And even if Krishna is not there, his loved ones will be there. You can go and see them and they will give you something for sure. So there is no problem or no harm in you visiting Dvārakā. And there are so many points that are mentioned here about Sudāmā ji, that smarataḥ pāda-kamalam. So all those, this is not just something that for those who meditate on the feet of Bhagavan, Bhagavan gives himself to them. This is talking about Sudāmā ji. The meaning of his wife is that you meditate on the feet of Sudāmā ji. Bhagavan will give himself to you. So this point is not a generic point, but it is referring to Sudāmā ji, that you are always meditating on his lotus feet. Why wouldn't he give you just some wealth? He'll be willing to give himself to you. So, and then bhajato, kim artha-kāmān bhajato, for those who do his bhajan, he will easily give wealth. So here there is a little hierarchy given, which is doing bhajan and meditating on his lotus feet. Okay, so meditating on lotus feet is greater than doing bhajan. So the point is that those who meditate on the lotus feet of Bhagavan, Bhagavan will give himself. Those who do his bhajan, he may give something less, but even something less is way more than some wealth. So you are doing both. You are always meditating on his lotus feet. You do his bhajan. Another point that she mentions is that you need money. Because yes, you can survive, but it will be easier for us to do our bhajan and our meditation if we have some money. Therefore, there is no harm to ask Sri Krishna for something that we need. And money is not something that he cares about. Na ati abhishtan. He doesn't care much about. He is the husband of Shri Lakshmi. What is money for him? So it's not like he will become poorer if he gives you something. If we give something to someone, our wealth goes down, the other person's wealth goes up. That is not the situation with him. And she also means to say that Krishna knows that you don't have any attachment to wealth. So why will he not give? Since you have no attachment to it, you will not misuse it if he gives you. So he will not have any problem in giving it to you. And finally, that he is Jagat Guru. It is his duty to take care of the well-being of his Shishya because he is Guru. So he will give. So all these points are made. And however, Sudāmā ji, now this will come in the next verse. It won't directly come, but this is coming from the commentaries and it's very sweet. So I will share with you. All this still did not convince Sudāmā ji that I should go. So we can see how determined he was to stay fixed in his bhajan and not go asking for some money or some wealth from Sri Krishna. And it is said that Sudāmā ji knew that wealth takes one away from one's bhajan of Sri Krishna. And he did not want to do that at all. And he also knew, which was very true also, which happened also, that even if he went and asked Sri Krishna for wealth, even if he knew this, okay, at least that was his conviction or his understanding. Even if he went and asked, Krishna would not give. Not that he would decline, I won't give, but he will do something and result will be he will not give. Because Krishna knows that this person's bhakti is way more important than his need for wealth. So Krishna will, his conviction was, even if I ask, Krishna will not give. Why will a father, if a child asks for a knife, will the mother give? He might hurt himself. So even if I ask, even if a child asks, Mama, I want to play with the knife, you know, this is like, wealth is like fire or is like poison for a devotee. So why will Krishna give something like that, even if such a foolish thing to ask? So the point is that the Acharyas point out beautifully is that he had more faith in Krishna than he had on himself. Even if I ask, he's not going to give. So if I become a rascal and ask, he is not going to give. So he had more faith. He said he will definitely not give, which means he has more faith on Sri Krishna, what Krishna will do, than what he himself will do. So this is always a devotee's, very pure devotee's mood, that they don't trust themselves, but they trust Bhagavan fully. Just like Prahlad Maharaj. Prahlad Maharaj said, I don't trust myself, whether I will fall down or not. So the boon that you should give me is that I stay fixed. So devotees don't trust themselves, but they trust Bhagavan way more. So this is a very important point. If you ever have to evaluate or judge, am I a good devotee or something like that? A nice way would be to see, are we following the instructions of Bhagavan and Shastra, Guru, Sadhu and Shastra, even at the cost of some personal risk? Even if it is not making full sense to me, that, or I feel like, no, this will not benefit me as much, still one goes ahead and does that. So in this case, not asking for wealth from Sri Krishna is such a act. So we can evaluate ourselves that, do we trust Bhagavan more and usually there is a conflict between our plan and trust on Krishna's plan. So that's why this thing we should always keep in mind, at least try to, that Bhagavan's plan for me is better than my plan for me. Now the trick is how to find out what is Bhagavan's plan for me. That's not very obvious. My plan for me is very clear. It's very clear in our mind. We keep thinking about it while driving, while walking, while brooding, while sleeping. Every time we keep making plans for ourselves, but we don't know what is Krishna's plan for us. That's a whole separate topic, how to understand Krishna's plan for us. But if we can get to the level where we can get some sense of what is Krishna's plan for me, we should in 1 second discard our own plan and completely adopt Krishna's plan for us, even if it does not make sense, full sense. Okay, and that's a whole different discussion which it's out of scope for today. Okay. And then his wife says this argument that you can go ask for some money. It's like a small child asking for some toys from his father. So what does the father do? Does he give some toys or not? Yes, he gives. But what are the real needs of the child? Good education, good upbringing. So he will admit the child in the best school, isn't it? Even if it is in today's modern context, let's say private school. So which is more expensive, private school or small toys? School is so much more expensive, tens of thousands of dollars. Toys is what, $10, $20. So he's saying it's okay, you go ahead and ask. That is like asking for small toys. Okay, Bhagavan will give. But in Sudāmā ji's case, what is the bigger thing for him is to protect his bhakti. That's the big thing that a father takes care for his child. So he will take care of that. He'll give you a small toy. You can play with it. You can be happy. Okay, child is happy. But the big thing also the father knows, even if the child doesn't say, put me in private school, but father anyway gives, because he knows that is what is best. So he will give the toys. He will not give a knife. So he will know what kind of small toy is enough for the child to be happy. But he also gives, if he's a loving father, he also gives the big things which really matter for the child's success. So the meaning here is Bhagavan will give you some pieces of wealth that is like small toy, but he will not let that damage your bhakti. He will make sure that that remains intact. So it's no problem. Go ahead and ask. So all these very nice points are being brought up. Again, these are only in the context of a devotee of the stature of Sri Sudāmā ji. So the learning from this discussion is not, the focus should not be, I should become like Sudāmā. That's not the focus at all. We cannot, at least I cannot, and one should not think like that. The focus should be to think from Krishna's perspective how sweet he is and how sweetly he reciprocates with his devotee. That is the point we should relish, and that is the only takeaway, and relish the sweetness of Sudāmā ji and their mutual relationship, not equating ourselves with Sudāmā ji at all. We are like nobody. We are very, very vulnerable. Okay. Okay, final point in this thing which Sri Viśvanātha Cakravartī Ṭhākura specially points out. She says, now it may be looking like she's just very, like she's not giving up. So that can be the understanding also, ki like, ye na ke na prakarena, by hook or by crook, somehow. So she says, okay, at least go. Don't even open your mouth. Just go. Don't talk anything. If you don't want to ask, at least go na. Don't ask anything. He will anyway give. You don't have to say anything. So it has two parts. One is that, yes, she was desperate to make him go. But at the same time, she acted as a catalyst. In the very next verse, we will see that Sudāmā got that idea. Though it is not said by any other, or at least Sri Jīva Gosvāmī does not mention this point, but Sri Viśvanātha Cakravartī Ṭhākura brings this up and says that gave the idea to Sudāmā, okay, I will go, I will see him and come. That's a nice, there's no harm in that. And I'm not going to open my mouth, or at least open my mouth in terms of asking for any money, but I will go, and anyway, I will have his darshan, and that will be a wonderful outcome in itself. So he decides to agree to his wife. So that idea was also given by his wife. So in that sense, you can give credit to the wife, or you can say that she was very persuasive, depends upon point of view. But Acharya Ji, Sri Viśvanātha Cakravartī Ṭhākura gives her credit for putting that thought in his mind. At least go take darshan. Okay. So these are all the points in this verse. Okay. So we can have a devotee online read the translation kindly. And I don't know, I'll point to one.
Can I?
Kiru Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Lord Krishna is now the ruler of the bhojas, vrishnis, and andhakas, and is staying at Dvārakā. Since he gives even his own self to anyone who simply remembers his lotus feet, what doubt is there that he, the spiritual master of the universe, will bestow upon his sincere worshipper prosperity and material enjoyment, which are not even very desirable?
Okay.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Okay. So then we will go to next two verses, 12 and 13. So these are described as to Sudāmā decides to go, and he starts going to Dvārakā. So these are the two verses. Okay. And so he says here, you see, Uttama Shloka Darshanam. Uttama Shloka is one of the names of Sri Krishna. Uttama Shloka means one who is described by Uttama Shlokas, or by the topmost or the most sweetest shlokas, and that is the name for Sri Krishna is Uttama Shloka. So he says, I will get Uttama Shloka Darshanam. Chalo, that will be a nice reason to go. None of these other reasons make sense to me anyway. That is a good reason to go. So chalo, let's go. No problem. So that is the mood of the 12th verse. So let's see the verse. Sa evam bharyaya vipro bahushaha prarthito muhuhu. Now, muhuhu here is there. There are other readings of Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. One of them says mriduhu. 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 Okay. So we'll take both. Both are sweet. Ayam hi paramo labha uttamah shloka darshanam. So what it means? So sa evam bharyaya vipro. Vipra is Brahmana. So Sudāmā Brahmaṇa. Bharya is wife. Sa evam bharyaya vipro. So like this, when she was speaking, bahushaha means bahut. Like she was saying this, and probably over many days. You can probably imagine that can be a little annoying, or okay, fine, Prarthito, but the mood is prarthito. So it was not like a annoying mood, but she was requesting prarthana. And muhuhu means repeatedly in Bhagavad Gita, who says muhu muhu? Sanjaya says, no, what's that? Harsham muhu muhu. By listening to this Krishna Arjuna Samvad, I am like muhu muhu. I'm over and over feeling overjoyed, and so like that. Muhu means repeatedly, or mriduhu means sweetly. So again, prarthito, her prarthana was either repeated or it was very sweet, two slightly different meanings. But anyway, so due to her repeated or requests, ayam hi paramo labhaha. So he thought that, there is one thing in this whole thing, param labha, one great benefit I can get from all this. Not all the other things, wealth or this or that. I'm not. So he had already decided, even before leaving, I'm not going to ask. It was very clear in his mind. It was not that once he went there, he never could open his mouth. He was clear from before even he left home that he's not going to ask. Param labha uttama shloka darshanam. That is my greatest outcome from this visit, will be that I will get darshan of Sri Krishna. Okay. So then we'll go to the next one. Yeah. Iti sanchitya manasa gamanaya matim dadhe apya astya upayanam kinched grihe kalyani diyatam. So iti sanchitya manasa. So like this, in his mind, so only in his mind he thought. He didn't tell his wife that I'm not going to ask. So it gives also a sense that it was his own plan. I'm not going to ask. Otherwise, then once, sometimes, once you agree, one battle won. So now you have agreed to go. Now I'm going to convince you to ask for money. So to make sure that, you do the full job and you don't do half the job. So he did not reveal to her that I'm not going to ask. So in his mind only, iti sanchitya manasa gamanaya matim dadhe, that he made his decision in his mind to go. So he decided in his mind to go to Dvārakā. Okay. So thinking like this in his mind, two times it is coming, manasa and mati. So in his mind, he kept it to himself that he is going to go, but not ask for anything, just get darshan of Krishna. That will be my param labh. So it seems he did not share this. What he asked his wife, though, was something else. What he asked his wife, he asked, can I take a gift with me? Because I'm going to see my friend after such a long time. And it is, now one question which I will put here, we can discuss a little bit about it. So, apya astya upayanam kinchit. So I looked up, the upaya means a remedy, but one of the other meanings of upayanam, I have looked it up in the dictionaries, Sanskrit dictionary, apte and all that. It is gift. So I did not know that. So upayanam is gift. Apya asti is there. Upayanam, a gift, kinchit means some. Kinchit means any. So is there any gift lying around in the house? Grihe kalyani diyatam. So you are the kalyani. Kalyani means you are the owner of the house. You know everything. Usually that's how it is. Even if I want to find something, the first call is to the wife. Where is this? Where is that? So he is asking that you are griha kalyani. You are the kalyani of the house. So please give if there is some gift lying around, because I want to take it with me to Sri Krishna. And she understands that makes sense. Okay. So that is, yeah. So the question could be, let's see, where did I put that? Yeah, nice. Next verse is also nice. We can discuss it in that one. So you can start thinking that why did Sri Sudāmā ji want to take a gift? Now, it's obvious in some sense, but there's a slight, you can think about it. If there is, one is as a formality. So one important point, again, this is little deeper point we had discussed last time, the mood of Sudāmā ji. So the mood of Sudāmā ji is what? So he is Sakhya. He's a friend, isn't it? But what kind of Sakhya? Is that truly like a peer level Sakhya, or is it little bit aiśvarya miśrit? Aiśvarya miśrit, isn't it? And that is why he is, because if it is, what are some of the points that you can tell that to substantiate or justify the answer that it is aiśvarya miśrit from what we have discussed so far? Any points? How do you, if somebody asks, if this is a question in test, let's say, Bhakti Vaibhav test, why is Sudāmā ji's friendship with Krishna aiśvarya miśrit or not the same as, let us say, Madhumangal, who will, push Krishna away and eat all his food? Okay, even Madhumangal knew he is prince. No, okay, why? Some more. Okay, you cannot just say because you live in Portland, you are a good person. From Seattle, you are not a good person. Some actual points from here, from what we have. Meditating on his lotus feet. Okay, so pure Sakhya will never meditate on his lotus feet. He will meditate on his gulab jamuns. Isn't it? How I can swipe them, right? Okay, that's one point, meditating on his lotus feet. Then, yes, correct. He's not looking at Krishna because Krishna is, and there was a point that his wife mentioned that he's Shripati, or I forget the exact word, that he is the husband of Mother Lakshmi. So obviously that itself is like full Aishwarya. So yes, any other points? But that's good enough. Uttama shloka, yes, very much. Uttama shloka darshanam. So like that. Yeah. So then the question is, to take, when he's deciding to take a gift, what is his mood? Is it like, okay, he is such a big guy, now I cannot take jewels and pearls. It is understandable, but I must take something. Khali haath kaise abhi, if it's a true friend, so then no problem, I would say, to go empty-handed. But he's deciding to take a gift. What may be his feeling? Is it formality, or is it love, or it is somewhere in the middle? So it's a nice point to think about as to what is going on in Sudāmā ji's mind as to why he wants to take a gift. So these are the things when we read Bhagavatam. One of the way to read Bhagavatam is to just read it. Again, I don't know if read is the best word, but as you are going through, it's like Hari Parshad Prabhu says, it's like a drama, watching the drama. So it's two types, Shrotavya and Darsha. I forget the exact words, so that you can see, and you Shravya and Drishya. Yes, Shravya and Drishya. So, but what happens is the sādhāraṇī-karaṇa. Sādhāraṇī-karaṇa means that you become one with the character. And that is why tears come and all that, because you are feeling what the character is feeling. So that sādhāraṇī-karaṇa is very nice to do when reading Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. So try it. Sādhāraṇī-karaṇa may not happen, or it may happen only in very few places where it is very emotional. That may happen. But in these cases also, you can little bit try to put yourself in the यहाँ आ जाइए, सब जगह है बहुत. Please make yourself comfortable. ये कोई बहुत बड़ी ऐसी क्लास नहीं है, ये बहुत सिंपल सी वो है, डिस्कस कर रहे हैं. सब एकदम बिंदास. You want to sit on the couch or chair or anywhere, please make yourself comfortable. So the process of sādhāraṇī-karaṇa can be or should be done. What I take is technical term, but what it means is try to think what they may be thinking. What did Sudāmā ji, what might he be thinking? And that is all what the commentaries of acharyas also try to bring out. The unsaid, we said it's the unsaid thing. If it was so unsaid, then Śrukadeva Goswami would have already written it in the verse itself. So it's about the acharyas putting in what his wife might have said. She might have said, no, don't say anything, just go. All that is Sri Viśvanātha Cakravartī Ṭhākura putting himself in, like, again, they are going into the samadhi and they are seeing. So all this, from their standpoint, it is much deeper. But simply from the standpoint of our relishment, we can also try to do, no need to share about it or anything like that. But in our personal attempt to read Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, this is something that can be done. To relish the Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, to understand the mood of the, not understand, but to relish the mood of the devotees. Okay. So what might Sudāmā ji be thinking when he asked, I want to take a gift, or when he thought, I want to take a gift? Why did he want to take a gift? Okay. So all these questions can be very nice to think about. Okay. So translation. Who would like to read one, please?
Can I read, Prabhuji? Śrukadeva Goswami continued. When his wife thus repeatedly implored him in various ways, the Brahman thought to himself, to see Lord Krishna is indeed the greatest achievement in life. Thus, he decided to go. But first he told her, my good wife, if there is anything in the house I can bring as a gift, please give it to me.
Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
So 14th verse. So what was lying around in Sudāmā ji's house? Nothing. Isn't it? If there was something, then they would not be so emancipated. Not emancipated, emaciated. Or so, like, even their veins and bones are visible. Right? So what she had to do, obviously there was nothing in the house. So she had to go beg or ask from the neighbors. So yachana, yachitva. So yachitva is the word is yachana. Yachana means to beg, right? Yachitva chaturo mushtin. Mushti means what? Muthi. So mushtin. So muthi is a Sanskrit word. Sanskrit coming from Sanskrit. Mushtin. Vipran prithukatundalan chaila khandena tan badhva bhartre pradad upayanam. Okay. So yachitva chaturo mushtin. So she went and begged from the neighbors, from Vipran. Vipran means the wives of the other Brahmanas who were living nearby. So she went and begged what? 4 handfuls, 4 muttis from the other wives. Prithuka tandulan is chivda, the flat rice. Okay. And in the commentary, in fact, Sri Jīva Gosvāmī tells how chivda is made. So even at the time of Sri Jīva Gosvāmī, which is about in the 1500s, chivda was made. So this is called Prithuka Tandulan. So basically rice is taken and it is cooked half. So not full cooked, half cooked. So it becomes little bit puffed, not full. And then you stop the cooking. Then you dry it out, put it out for drying. Once it is dried, then you beat it and it becomes flat rice. So that is the process. And he says this Prithuka Tandulan, Jīva Gosvāmī, is very specific so that we can all understand exactly what was taken to Sri Krishna, because it's an important gift. And as you will see from the next chapter 81, it has a lot of significance. This gift is not just going to be forgotten. It will have a lot of significance in the next chapter, how Krishna snatches it and eats it. So it's a very important thing. So he takes the time to explain how it is made. So Vipran Prithuka Tandulan. And it seems that she got 4 handfuls, Chaturo Mushtin, but she got only 1 handful from each house. So even the other Vipras, they were also devotees, but they also didn't have much. So, you know, when you yourself don't have much, abhi kya denge? So they gave 1. So she got one handful from each house. 4 handfuls, she said, okay, enough. And I will bring it back to my husband. Chaila Khandena Tan Badhva. And Khandena means a sort of a torn piece of. Chaila is a piece of cloth. Remember in the first few verses, Kuchaila was there, that their vastras were Kuchaila. Maila Kuchaila kehte na, Kuchaila. So Ku means bad. So Chaila is a piece of cloth. Kuchaila means dirty cloth. So this was probably clean cloth. So anyway, but a torn piece of cloth, Tan Badhva, she tied that flat rice in a piece of cloth, and Bhartre Pradad Upayanam. So what is Upayanam? Gift. So as a gift, she gave this Pradad, she gave to Bhartre, to her husband. Okay, so Bhartra and Bharya. So that is husband and wife, right? So Bhartra is husband. So Bhartre, to her husband, she gave this gift as a gift. So Chaila Khandena Tan Badhva Bhartre Pradad Upayanam. Yeah. So again, any discussion on why the gift? Anybody wants to share anything, or what was the mood? What might be Sudāmāji's mood? Okay, because he's going after a long time. So in your case, like if you go to some relatives or somebody you have not seen in a very long time, then you may take something, right? But if you meet somebody every week, maybe it's not. Okay, nice. So there's no formality, right? Is it out of formality, or is it a expression of love, or is it mixed? Okay. Yeah. What else? Yes.
So since the friendship is mixed, has this aiśvarya bhav, so I think it's a culture and courtesy. He doesn't want to go empty-handed.
Yes.
I think it is purely sort of formality. It's a culture, courtesy, respectful way of meeting him.
Shishtachar.
Shishtachar. Yeah.
That is the word also used by one of the acharyas as a shishtachar, means as a what we call as a tradition. That is shishtachar. It's not. Huh? Yeah, so that is that would be a vidhi, right? So, but he again, that's the whole dichotomy here. Is it part of some rule, or is it purely out of love, or is it somewhere in the middle? As an offer,
Prabhuji.
that's another etiquette.
Etiquette.
Yes, shishtachar, etiquette, tradition, whatever, culture. As an offering would be aiśvarya, that I want to offer to Bhagwan something. We don't go to temple like, empty-handed. We always should put a donation, not just eat prasad and wash your hands and come back. So yeah, there are all these points. So very nice point. That is another very key point which will be revealed later, that one time he ate some portion of Sri Krishna's tiffin when they were, so that time it was probably little more friendship in that mood of true Sakhya. Chalo chalta hai, theek hai, let me take one sandwich from his tiffin. But now he wants to repay it back. Yes. So all those reasons are there. Very nice. ठीक है? Yeah. So. But again, both of those are aiśvarya. Yeah, but the point being made, or the point to understand, it is not only aiśvarya. If even you go to your very, very close friend or even a family member, like, my son started earning, he got a job, so he got a gift for me. He knows I wasn't expecting a gift, or it's not a tradition or culture or formality or anything. It was just like, okay, here's a little gift, I'm started earning, so here's a gift. So it was, I think there was no aishwarya. That can also be the case. So all these points could be there. Okay. So translation on the Zoom. Let me see.
I can try.
Yeah, please.
Sudāma's wife baked 4 handfuls of flat rice from the neighboring Brahmanas, tied up the rice in a torn piece of cloth, and gave it to her husband as a present for Lord Krishna.
Thank you. So, 15th verse. So, one second. Okay. We have a lot of verses to go. Okay. So, now Sudāmaji's thoughts as he is traveling to Dvārakā. Okay, what he is thinking. So, Satanādāya vipragyaha vipragriha prayayau Dvārakām kila Krishna sandarshanam mahyam katham syaditi chintayan. So, iti chintayan. So, which means what were his thoughts, or what was Sudāmaji absorbed in? Chintan means is not just thinking. Chintan means constantly thinking, or that's the thought occupying his mind. He is not holding on to the thought is holding on to him. So that's the thought is occupying his mind. So it's like, so he was absorbed in. What was Sudāmaji absorbed in during the journey? So that is the question. So, Satanādāya vipragriha, that he took the gift, and prayayau Dvārakām kila, and he started his journey to Dvārakā. And the purpose was Krishna sandarshanam mahyam. Will I get? So it's more like a katham. Katham means will I. So it is a question mark. So will I? Katham syad. How will it happen? Will I get Krishna sandarshanam mahyam? Will I be able to get the darshan of Sri Krishna? So his whole purpose was to get darshan of Sri Krishna. And that was his absorption during the journey. So he's demonstrating the quality of a pure devotee. The devotee doesn't want anything that will I get darshan of Krishna, but then will he realize my poverty without me asking? Will he or will he not give something? And how should I, act so that without saying I convey that I need something? Maybe I should act more poor or whatever, act more hungry or anything. I'm just making it up. But that was none of it. The focus was not on getting something from Krishna. The focus was simply to get his samdarshanam. Very nice. Samdarshanam means very nice darshan, very sweet darshan, not just darshan like, for some ulterior motive or anything like that. Samdarshanam means that it's very sweet, very, really, darshan in the best possible way. I just want to see Krishna. That is the point, that the sole focus was to see Krishna, nothing else. So that is the meaning here. So this is showing how pure devotee thinks, that I only want to see Krishna and nothing else. I don't want anything from him, really nothing from him. Just like in Damodarashtakam, which we will start singing in 2 weeks, right? Satyavrat Muni says, very soon. So Satyavrat Muni says in the Damodarashtakam that all I want is, Bhagavan says, take some boon. He says, I don't want any boon or anything. I just want the view of Krishna, the sweet face of Krishna to be in my heart. So that's all the devotee wants, that I want to keep seeing Krishna. That's his devotee's only desire. And that is being so nicely shown in this verse. And this proves that Sudāmā ji is a topmost devotee. Okay. So, yeah. So we'll read the translation on Zoom. Meera Mataji, can you read?
Yeah. Taking the flat rice, the saintly Brahman set off for Dvārakā, all the while wondering, how will I be able to have Krishna's audience?
So, our acharyas have focused on sandarshanam. So it could have very well been darshanam, but sandarshanam has a specific significance. Okay, 16 and 17. So then what happens? That this is Sudāmā ji reaches Dvārakā. He crosses many barriers and hurdles. And what happens when he sees the palace of Sri Krishna? He feels Brahma Ananda. So on seeing the palace or just the abode of Sri Krishna, it is as good as Brahmananda, which is, this palace is no different from Vaikuntha. So when he reached finally the palace, we'll see his little journey in 2 verses and how he reaches there. But when he enters, puts his foot into that palace of Sri Krishna, he has reached Vaikuntha. So that is the feeling that he gets. So, Trini gulmyan atiyaya tristra kashascha sadvijaha vipro gamya andhaka-vṛṣṇīnām griheshva achyuta dharminām. Then griham dvaashta sahasranām mahīṣīnām hare dvijaha viveshaika tam Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam gato yatha. So, Trina gulmanya atiyaya. So Trina, 3, and gulma. So this is a gulma. Atiyaya means he crossed, or he was able to surpass. He was able to go beyond. So what is a gulma? So once again, Sri Jīva Gosvāmī really wants us to have a view, very nice vision or a vivid picture he tries to paint of what is a gulma. In Hindi, a gulm is like we say, no, chhavni. Have you heard chhavni? Like the English word is like a cantonment. Is the chhavni, or basically a a camp of soldiers, a military or a camp, basically to a checkpoint. Okay, so these were checkpoints, and he crossed 3 checkpoints. And a gulma, Sri Jīva Gosvāmī explains that what is a gulma, I have written down here, consists of 9 elephants, 9 chariots, 27 horses, and 45 armed soldiers. Armed means with whatever, bows, arrows, or swords, or whatever. So it is not just armed soldiers, tells us that it is there is a military aspect to it. It's not just like a royal aspect. Other things like elephant, chariot, and horses may think it's just like a matter of opulence, but this tells us there is also a security angle to it. So it's like protected. So Dvāraka city was protected because there were so many demons. And of course, Krishna doesn't need that. But again, why did he then transport all the loved ones from Mathura to Dvāraka? He could have easily protected them in Dvāraka itself. And then he created the city of Dvāraka in the sea. So there was that also. So there are these protections that are there, even though Sri Krishna is present. There is no problem in that understanding. But this is and there are 3 layers. So that's how the arrangement was made for the city of Dvāraka. And then 3 gateways. So 3 kaksha sadvijaha. So 3 kaksha. Kaksha, you can think of like kaksha means not a classroom, but a area or a region, like 3 different divisions. So like kaksha, inner, middle, and outer region. So along with cha sadvijaha. So he got along with other brahmanas, and because of that, he was able to go through. So what it also means is that in the Vedic times, the soldiers had the power or had the understanding of who is a real Brahman and who is a miscreant. And they would let the Brahmanas go through. The Brahmanas had no problem in going in and out, and they were able to decipher whatever may be the means that these are Brahmanas. So the Brahmanas were very highly respected, even though like Sudāmā ji, you can understand, he was so thin and weak and, kuchaila, his clothes were not also proper clean. Of course, they will not be royal, but they were not even clean. So, but just that personality was so dazzling, and the brightness on the gaze on the face, the aura on the face is such that the soldiers would not stop such Brahmanas from going and meeting the king. And Sri Krishna is the king of Ugrasenji is the king, but again, Sri Krishna is as good as king of Dvāraka. So at that time, Brahmanas were very highly respected by the soldiers, armed soldiers, and he was with this group of Brahmanas, and he was able to keep going in, and he reached the innermost place. So he reached the inner layer. Agamya andhaka-vṛṣṇī-nam. So Vipra agamya, agaye. You can think of agamya means agaye. Andhaka-vṛṣṇī-nam griheshu. So the houses of the Andhakas and the Vrishnis. So these are the close relatives of Sri Krishna, which means he reached the inner circle of Dvāraka city. So Dvāraka city had all these layers. He crossed 3 layers and reached the inner layer. And Achyuta Dharminam, that these Andhakas and Vrishnis are Achyuta Dharminam, means they are devoted to Achyuta or Krishna, which means they are very close relatives of Sri Krishna. So basically the point is he reached the inner circle of Dvāraka city. And there what he saw? Griham dvi ashta sahasranam dvi Ashta Sahasranam. What it means? 2 times 8 times 1000 is how much? 16,000. So he saw 16,000 griham or palaces. And these 16,000 palaces are what? The palaces of Sri Krishna. So and these are the Mahishinam of the queens, Harer Dvijaha. So he saw the 16,000 palaces of the 16,000 queens of Sri Krishna. And Vivesha Ekatmam. So Vivesha Ekatmam or Ekatamam. Vivesha Ekatamam. He entered, Vivesha entered into Eka, one of them. And which one he entered? Śrīmad. Which one looked the most opulent? So the one out of those that looked the most opulent, he entered. And which one would that be? The most opulent. Who is the most opulent? Mother Rukmiṇī's palace, because she is Shri herself. So she is Mother Lakshmi herself. So Mother Rukmiṇī is Mother Lakshmi and non-different from Mother Lakshmi. So basically, he entered the Vaikuntha Lok, where Sri Krishna or Sri Narayan and Lakshmi reside. So he entered the abode of Bhagavan, and he felt as if gato yatha, as if he has entered Vaikuntha. He got that Brahmananda, that feeling of entering Vaikuntha he got. He saw so much opulence and so beautiful, and it's not just the opulence like you enter Disneyland or something, not like that, but that Ananda. And who has explained here? Let me see. Sri Jīva Gosvāmī explains that abode of Sri Krishna is non-different from Sri Krishna himself, that we all know. Bhagwan's Naam, his abode, his paraphernalia, all those are non-different from Sri Krishna. But a small twist is there here. So he felt the Brahmananda. Why it is called Brahmananda? Not just Ananda or Brahmananda, because for a devotee, there is also a difference. This was the discussion we had, if you remember what discussion we had many weeks ago, that if Krishna and his name are non-different, then why the gopis are feeling so much separation? They can just take the name of Krishna, they can take or not. They are already taking. What to say they can take? 24/7 they are taking. Why they are feeling separation? By even name, Nama, Abhinnatvam Nama Namino. So one should go and tell them Abhinnatvam Nama Namino from the Vedas, right? Then what will they do to the Vedas? They will say you can tear it up and put it in your pocket and go back. So all these statements from the Upanishads and the Vedas and all don't work for the pure devotees. So this also shows that, so Brahmananda he got. The Ananda that a impersonal devotee would get, he will say, chalo, ho gaya, done. Whether it is Bhagavan or Bhagavan's abode, both are same. I got Bhagavan's abode. They are same. So, if I get A or I get B, I enter the same code block. So, it's like that for them. But for devotee, it is different. So here we see that there is this aspect. He is not an impersonal devotee of Bhagavan, or he's not a Brahmavadi or anything like that. He is a pure Bhakta of Bhagavan. And even though he entered there, he got Brahmananda, but still he had the desire to see Sri Krishna personally. So that is very clearly shown here. And that is the reason why Shukadeva Goswami chose the word Brahmananda. Okay. So he got that, but he wanted more. Okay. Like the gopis, of course, you cannot tell them, but you are feeling so much separation from Krishna. So why don't you stop taking the name of Krishna? Name of Krishna is not cutting it for you. isn't it? So why take the name? Would they agree? No, they want to take the name, but they want more. They are not going to stop there. This also shows that for devotees, from Bhagavad Gita, you will see that the result of all other paths is available to the devotees. They are not bereft. Which chapter, which verse of Bhagavad Gita? All module 2 test. Which verse, which chapter says it's from module 2? That devotees of Bhagavan are not bereft of the benefits or the results of other paths. Very good. Chapter 8. Next. Which verse? Okay. Very good. Very good. You are getting close. Very nice. It is the last verse. 8 point. अब number भी बता दीजिए.
28.
34 are not verses. 28 verses is there. So 28th verse. Yeah. Very nice. Who said 28? Okay. Some devotee on Zoom said. So anyway, so this also shows that he is a devotee and he was not looking for Brahmananda or looking to go to Vaikuntha, but he got that result. Okay. So devotees get the results of all the paths. But he was not satisfied or he did not leave. He wanted to still see Sri Krishna. So there is a difference. We discussed this difference when we discussed the difference. Even though it is said abhinnatvam nama namino, there is also some difference. And even in recent classes of Hari Parshad Prabhu, also in the Shikshashtakam, he discussed this difference. That there is non-difference, abhinna, and there is some difference for the devotee. Okay, so that's an important point. All right, translation. Could somebody read the translation here? Somebody who has not read on the Zoom?
Can I try, Prabhuji?
Yes, yes, definitely.
The learned Brahmana, joined by some local Brahmanas, passed 3 guard stations and went through 3 gateways, and then he walked by the homes of Lord Krishna's faithful devotees, the Andhakas and Vrishnis, which ordinarily no one could do. He then entered one of the opulent palaces belonging to Lord Hari's 16,000 queens, and when he did so, he felt as if he were attaining the bliss of liberation. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Mataji. So one point I forgot to mention here is agamya. Agamya andhaka vipro agamya. I said he came, but also the point is that nobody else can reach that point. He came to a place which is not easy to be reached by others because of so much, security and all. And of course, devotees only can reach Sri Krishna. And all these Andhakas and Vrishnis and all they are all pure devotees of Krishna, all the Yadus and all. They are all part of the Yadus. So they are devotees of Krishna. So they can reach, or they are there. But it's not easy to reach that level of that close to Sri Krishna. Okay, I was hoping to get here, and the fun begins now. So this is where I feel that this is the most sweetest part of the chapter, 18th to 25th verse, 24, 25 verse, is how Krishna treats Sudāmā ji. And this is very, very, very sweet and very moving, how Sri Krishna just completely throws himself to Sudāmā ji. So I think I don't want to stretch long. We have come to the end of the time. So we'll stop, I think, because if we start, then it will be a nice topic for next week or whenever we have the class next week or whatever. Yeah. So from 18 to, let's see, from 18 to where it will go, where Mother Rukmiṇī. So I'll just give you a preview and we'll go through some very sweet things, that how Sri Krishna runs to Sudāmā ji as soon as he sees him, how he just jumps and runs to him and hugs him and doesn't leave him, you know. So both are hugging each other and not leaving, and everybody is waiting when they will leave. So, and then how Sri Krishna then goes, and I won't divulge all the points, sweet points, but then he goes and worships Sudāmā ji, and one of the acharyas says it's as if the sun rose from the west, because usually devotees do archana. So literally he did full archana. Devotees do archana of Krishna. Here Krishna is doing archana of devotee in full, with full process, full paddhati. The same thing as you will see deity worship, same thing. And then even his, not only him, his wife also, Rukmiṇī ji, yeah, the goddess of fortune, fanning with her child, so even she is participating. So both Sri Krishna and everybody is like watching, and so there is full arati going on. There are devotees who are watching, Krishna is serving, and Bhagwan is Sudāmā ji. So this whole scene is so beautiful, and I have collected some pictures from the internet from devotees, made by devotees, and we can go through that whole scene. So it will be very sweet discussion to happen, how Krishna and Sudāmā Milan occurs. Okay, so we can stop here, I think, for today. Any comments or questions or any corrections, kindly share. Okay, yes, Prabhuji.
So towards the end, when you said we were explaining the Gamya word, he said that he reached a place where others could not. So
Which is not easy to reach.
So his qualification was just he was a Brahmin.
That is the external or from the Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam level, because it is said he reached that inner level, the third level, where the closest associates of Sri Krishna, such as the Andhakas and Vrishnis, reside, and that place is kind of out of bounds for many people. But he was allowed in, because at the external level, because he was a Brahman and with a group of Brahmanas, but also that he was a pure devotee.
Second part is when he entered that one of the most opulent palaces, he felt like, I think in the translation it was mentioned about liberation, but you mentioned the word Vaikuntha kind of feeling.
That is the actual feeling. Okay. I mean, that is what that's what actually happened. That this is non-different from Vaikuntha Lok, because it's the abode of Sri Krishna and Mother Rukmiṇī. So it is Vaikuntha. But on approaching it, the Brahmavadis, when they would approach, let's say a Brahmavadi were to approach, he would get Brahmananda. So he got that benefit.
And just a clarification, this is a different yuga, but
it's the same Sri Krishna. Even the Brahmavadis, when they approach Krishna only, the same Krishna which the Vrajvasis approach. The person is the same, their experience is different. Brahmavadis will experience Brahmananda, which is like, you are being given a gulab jamun, bahar se, from the outside can, you smell it. I'm done. Okay, very nice gulab jamun. And they put it back. So a person who can eat it or who has eaten it will say, kitna kya bevkoof hai. Dabba khol ke kha bhi lo. Then you will know really what it is. Right? So it's the same gulab jamun, but they are satisfied with one level of it. Somebody else wants the next level.
Follow-up in that is like in those yugas. So here our understanding in Kali Yuga is like, Vaikuntha, planetary systems, but there Bhagwan is residing in Dvārakā, right? So for them, is it a metaphor or that is actually Vaikuntha Lok because Krishna Bhagwan is there?
No, it is actually Vaikuntha Lok. This is Prakat Leela. So we discussed, long discussion we had on Prakat and Aprakat. So this is when the curtain opens and we are actually able to see what the Prakat Vrindavan is, or Prakat Dvārakā is. So that is no different from the Prakat, Aprakat, or what is in the spiritual world. It is not some watered down version or anything like that. Once the curtains close, then it begins to water down. Okay, that's why you see all the, gutters and dogs and all the other things in today's place, which was Prakat 5,000 years ago. Yes, Prabhuji?
But in Bhakti Shastri we read that yogis, they can get liberation as well. And then bhaktas also get liberation. But we were discussing like they also get liberation and then bhaktas also get liberation. And then it was clearly mentioned that yogis go to the get the place in the spiritual planet, but it was written that they get the service of Krishna. So is it that when yogis reach or like Vaikuntha Lok planets, they don't have desire to associate with Krishna, or they are happy over there? Associate or whatever, but they don't. Again, it's a gray spectrum. It's not binary that they want or not, but that deep desire to serve Sri Krishna is less or not existent. It depends on the yogi to yogi. But yes, the point is that they do not have that what is known as prema seva-uttara. They are sukha aiśvarya-uttara. So this whole distinction we had discussed in Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu. You were there in that. So they have that sukha aiśvarya that I want. It's not that my enjoyment, it's not at a material level. It is spiritual completely, but it's not prema seva. That all I want to do is to serve Bhagavan, my beloved Bhagavan, with love. That is missing. Yes. This is covered in the initial part of the Sadhan Bhakti chapter of Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu, around the 50th to 60th verse. I think it's when you mentioned that gopis, they take the name of Krishna, so we can tell them why are you like wanting to meet Krishna. So is it because we are very bland in our sadhana, or to say just keep doing your sadhana? That's why we don't feel that we want to meet Krishna. Sometimes we feel, okay, my sadhana is done, and we don't feel encouraged to meet Krishna. So is it because I would say we are kind of not doing it properly?
Yeah, of course. So the question is, why do we not have that desire? We are doing our sadhana, but we don't have that deep desire to be to meet Sri Krishna. First of all, at least in my case, the sadhana itself is very shabby. And of course, the desire to really meet Sri Krishna is, I wouldn't say it's not there. It is there, but it is way less than, say, let's say to meet my son, my wife, my friends, all these other things is more. So it's not anyabhilashita shunyam. It's anyabhilashita purnam. So it's not uttama bhakti. So that is the reason. And also while chanting the name, there is nam aparadh going on. And there is definitely no sincere crying for that, just barely getting done with the sadhana itself is a success, let alone yearning for the result of it. All those things are there.
Holy name and like Bhagavatam, they are literally incarnation of Krishna, and Krishna, they are non-different. So what do we mean by they are non-different in that sense?
Okay, that's a whole new class. Oh, yeah, we can talk about it. Okay, anything else?
Question on.
Yeah, Archi Mataji, you have your hand raised.
Yes, Prabhuji. So, Prabhuji, I have a question. Like in when Bhagwan
You're cutting out a little bit.
or comes to this or yeah, like so when he comes, so I think he comes with all his associates. Like Advaitacharya is the incarnation of Brahma, like that. So when Krishna also appeared, he came with all his associates, right?
Yes.
So I think so. So for Sudāmā is also must be a personal associate of Lord Krishna. So do you have any lead, like who was he in his previous life or something like that?
I don't know that. So I know two sources of information. There is the Gaura Guna Uddesha Deepika, which tells who are the various personalities in Gaura Leela, who they were in the Krishna Leela. And the original, and that was written by Sri Kavi Karnapur. And the original who's who of Vraj. Okay, so Sudāmā ji is not Vraj associate, is the Sri Sri Radha Krishna Gona Uddesha Deepika by Sri none other than Sri Rupa Gosvāmī. So he has written this original work of Sri Sri Radha Krishna Gona Uddesha Deepika. So there you can see the complete details of the who's who of Vraj to the last level. And you will not find those names and those people anywhere else. Sri Rupa Gosvāmī has, and he starts off by saying that if we are all trying to get Krishna Prema and go to where? What is the aspiration of the Gaudiya Vaishnavas? To go where? Golok Vrindavan. So recently, if you don't, I don't know if you know or not, we went to attend 2 marriages earlier this year. We had not seen so many relatives in our family. I had not seen for many years, almost some of them for 20 years. And I was really looking forward to meet them. So that yearning was there in my heart. I will meet this Mausi and that Mausa and this Bhaiya and that Didi and their children I have never seen. I have heard of them, seen their WhatsApp photos, but never actually met them. And I was really looking forward to each of them, meeting each of them. But what it means is first you have to know, whom all. So today, if I even, so that book tells us the entire family of Sri Krishna. So if we are planning to go to Golok Vrindavan, ki chalo bhai, agamya, aa gaye hum. Now you have to worship me. So if that is the takeaway from Sudāmā pastime, ki chalo bhai, Krishna will jump and worship me, and that is not the proper way. We have to know so it's a very nice question. We have to know everyone. And Sri Rupa Gosvāmī writes there in the book, the purpose is to prepare you to the purpose is to prepare you to go to Golok Vrindavan, so that you can know your future family. So first get familiar with your future family, then go there. And then you will have also the desire to go there, just like I was. And if you remember, we were trying to sell that stupid house in Bangalore and all that. And it didn't work out. And then we had to go again. I might have told that whole story. But even just going and meeting all those relatives in that trip was so fulfilling. The house didn't get sold, no problem. That was, so that like that, one should have I'm sure you might have also felt that way in meeting your relatives and all. But do we feel that for Sri Krishna? So we should, so yes, one should go through these literatures. And if Sudāmā's name, I have not read it fully. See, I have not even read fully and sitting here and giving these big classes. So one should read those. And if Sudāmā ji's name comes there, I will let you know. So very nice question. Sorry, I wanted to share that this literature exists. And it should be our endeavor to read it.
So what was the book?
I'm going through it, but I have not completed. That much I can. Yes.
So Prabhuji, what was the book you told?
Sri Sri Radha Krishna Gona Uddesh Deepika. If you search it, you will find it, and there are some English translations also.
So by Śrīla Rupa Gosvāmī, right?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Okay. ठीक है. Yes.
I can ask.
No, better to ask online.
So Prabhuji, like Sudāmā also has another name, Kuchela.
No, Śrīdāmā. That's the name that is used. Kuchela means like weak and poor. That's what it means. Yeah, might be his characteristic. So maybe that is I was not aware.
Sudāmā, he was saying Kuchela, who's Kuchela?
But
I have one more question. Prabhuji, you mentioned about sādhāraṇī-karaṇa.
yes,
Like, I just want to know, like,
becoming
how-
one with the character.
like, how- if you can explain more, like how we should actually practice it, like without
From
mental
the
speculation.
from the commentaries. Very good question. How should we practice it? From the commentaries of the acharyas. No, and after some time, and once, let's say you have, you know, so from the commentaries, because you can think yourself a little bit. I mean, this is a practice. You said how to practice. Maybe this was a question not to be recorded, but anyway, practice means you can think, then read the commentary, and kind of after a certain level, you can understand this is in line or this is out of line, within the guard bands of our acharyas or out of the guard bands. So through the reading of commentaries, one can try to understand the mood of our Gaudiya Vaishnava acharyas, the implicit guard line, the guardrails or the boundary they have set, and stay well within those boundaries. And then, if you have good access to your guru, then you can always ask your guru as well. This is my thought. This is what I thought. And can you confirm or clarify whether it is in the right line, right space or not? And a guru who is like in that mood will always encourage to read Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam in this spirit. But obviously one should definitely keep it only to themselves, and if at all, share it with guru for the purpose of clarifying. And if enough times you get the answer, yes, this is okay, good, and that's how the progress occurs. So just like abhyas, this is the process of abhyas. So you do a math problem, you come and check. Of course, yeah, math is easy because answer is either 5 or not 5. If the answer is 5, you are but or whatever, write an essay. Teacher keeps saying good, then you become a good writer. So but then yes, there need to be access to such a person who can guide and who is himself capable and can provide that feedback and all that. But at a very basic, simplistic level, read a verse, spend some time with it. You may get some wrong thoughts. It's okay. Read the commentary, discard your wrong thoughts, cement the commentaries, what the Acharya's commentaries are saying. They do a lot of this, as we said, just today we discussed that his wife said, okay, fine, don't ask anything, don't even open your mouth, just go na. And then he got the thought. All of this discussion is not there in Bhagavatam. So it tells us that Sri Viśvanātha Cakravartī Ṭhākura is seeing more. Of course, all that is completely valid because he's purest of pure devotee. He's seeing this in samadhi. And what he has written is like line on stone. So we understand that from their commentaries. So that would be a very good source of trying to, So relishing Bhagavatam through the eyes of the commentaries would be a very good foundation. And then one can go a little beyond, but that's not within my purview to say. But I said it. and check with your guru and keep it to yourself. With all these things, you can relish. That is called relishment of Bhagavatam. That Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam arthanam asvado. So this is artha-kāmān. Rasikaihi saha means primarily rasik. The primary rasik is who? The guru. So they can validate, they can check. But this Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam arthanam asvadan. So this is artha-kāmān. In between lines, asvadan. Okay, shall we stop here? Okay, Granthraj Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam ki jai. Jagat Guru Śrīla Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you so much.
Prabhuji. Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you, Mataji.